2 years ago, I went viral for an ADHD productivity hack that I invented. I'm obviously very proud about how helpful it's been for everyone. And also, I've been very scared to admit to you guys, I'm not crying, I'm getting sick, just to be clear. I've been scared to admit to you guys that I'm not using it anymore. So in today's video, I am not only coming clean, I am explaining why. Oh, and of course, talking about how even though I've disappeared for the last 6 months, I am coming back with Vlogmas this year. I'm committed to it. I'm sick. I'm still doing it.
Day one.
For the uninitiated, time flex tier technique is, at its core, just a twist on traditional time blocking. Well, it's 2 twists, really, I would say. I'm gonna be brief with this, I swear. The first is that it looks at your calendar as a living, breathing tool rather than like a set in stone list of commitments. And second, the calendars that one creates in your system, if you use this, they're based on tiers of flexibility rather than the more traditional like areas of life. The reason I think this whole thing was such a hit is because it really gave me the perfect balance of structure and flexibility that my ADHD brain really needed. I know what you might be thinking, okay? I ranted and raved about it at the time, and you're probably thinking, like, it's so great and so life-changing, then like, why aren't you using it anymore, Danielle? Okay, first of all, quit judging me, relax. I just remembered I'm pretty sure I have a large coffee stain on this side of the sweater. Oh, yep. Oh, you can't really see it, can you? Yeah, the fear of being judged might have played a little part in like not wanting to talk about not using the system anymore. But to be honest, I think the real reason has a lot more to do with the fact that so many of you guys let me know it was so amazing and so life-changing for you. And I didn't want to affect anyone's confidence in that system. You know what I mean? And I know how prone us ADHDers are to go looking for new systems, even if the one that we're using is working just fine, okay? If that is you and everything is going well, ignore this video, click off. But that's the thing. My life has changed so much in the 2 years since I made that video. Hang on, I need some tea. I have a good number of reasons why this stopped working for me, and these are in no particular order. Only number one, I wasn't having any work shifts that I had to clock into aside from my own coaching, but that definitely wasn't filling my days the way a traditional job was. So what happened after that is there were so few events under my appointments calendar. Nothing was immovable, so I was just looking at an entire day of, there were very few appointments that I was like squeezing things between. Does that make sense? It went from being a good balance of structure and flexibility to just being like a wall of flexibility, which sounds great in theory, but it's not, okay? All right, reason number 2. This is a baby one, but you know how I would set tasks up to recur daily or weekly or whatever? You think that you want that and you don't have to touch it again and it's like totally hands off. You think that. What I realized over time, it's too little engagement to keep me interested. If everything is just like set, it's kind of like that example of, was it Betty Crocker? You know how they used to sell like cake mix that you literally just added water, but it didn't sell well because people felt like they weren't really doing anything. Whereas once they changed it to like just add an egg, people felt like they did a thing. All right, this one is kind of a big one to me. Google Calendar is just not as mobile friendly as I would like it to be, even on not just a phone, but like on an iPad. You know, there was a time where I liked doing my daily planning at my desk in the morning, coffee, you know, cozy little ritual. Well, being the ADHD that I am, at some point, I realized actually I really liked getting my day started by just like waking up, running off to the gym, bringing my iPad, you know, because it has, I took it out of this because I'm filming right now, but it has this, you know? So like setting this on the little bar and being able to do 3:30 while I like plan my day out. Oh my God. Sunrise sweep, I called it. Loved it so much. Not so easy to do that on Google Calendar. Like, remember how in the last video I gave that tip? It was like everyone's favorite tip and it was like graying out things on your calendar, which is just so easy to do on like a laptop or a desktop. Not so on the mobile app. And it's not that I don't use Google Calendar at all anymore, but I got tired of like switching between the two. Like I realized that I needed a place for my notes and like trekking habits and like all kinds of other things. Like my calendar just was not enough for everything I wanted to do. And like, why have both when one will suffice if you set it up right, you know? All right, another small one, lack of customization options with Google Calendar, and not for not trying. I did changing hex codes and making it aesthetic with colors. I added emojis to events to make it a little more fun and spicy. I even added like little fonts. Do you remember? If you saw my customizing your Google Calendar video, that's as exciting as it's ever gonna get. And the thing about Notion is that it's dangerous if you spend too much time like just around the aesthetics, but I've changed my mind a little bit. If I change things around a little bit and it keeps you engaged and using the system, then that's better than feeling locked into something super rigid that like you have to switch up when you get bored or it doesn't work anymore, you know? God, it feels like I'm dragging this creation I'm very proud of creating through the mud and like I don't care for it. We can talk more about that later, but for real, I just want to be completely honest about every frustration I've experienced because, you know, if these things had workarounds, I would have done that. But anyway, I digress. Here's another one that's small. Looking back, it's like that would have been easy to fix, but I didn't, so I'm just going to mention it, is that I don't know if you remember when I had like daily routine things, I had like every little thing down to like a tiny little, like making my bed was its own little event. And like, I got tired of dragging all those little things around the calendar. Now, granted, I could have just clicked them when they were done, even if I ended up doing them later. But like, if I did roll out of bed an hour late, then I had to drag like 10 little morning routine tasks down to the time I actually did them. And again, I could have easily fixed that by just like chunking something down into like morning routine. But then where was I going to have the details written out of what my morning routine was? In Notion. Or if I put it in my Google Calendar in the description, then there's no way to check things off on the description so that I can know that I brushed my teeth, but I didn't make my bed yet. Like, I don't know. It's a minute thing, but it started to bother me after a while. And this is pretty much the last one, but I think it's a big one. I having ADHD as intensely as I do, one of my symptoms that like presents the most is just like concepts of time and thinking how long things are going to take me to do. I would know that about myself. So then I tried to counteract that by being like, okay, well then if I think it's going to take me 1 hour, I should schedule it in for 2. But then like deep down, I didn't really believe it was actually going to take me 2 hours. So I would Robinson's law, that's not right. Hang on. Parkinson's law. Time expands to fill the available time. Facts, all right? Yeah, I found out that like I would give myself more time in my schedule, but then I'd actually take that time, even though that was like the antithesis of like what I wanted. And here's the thing, I think, again, that wouldn't be a problem if I had appointments giving structure to the calendar, things that I was bumping up against that I couldn't move around. Then it would create that pressure and I would know, hey, I've got an hour, 2 hours to do this. I got to get it done. But that wasn't really there. I know I just gave you a frickin' bukkake of reasons that I'm not using this system anymore. But again, it's just because of the way that my life is right now. Please don't hate me for saying this, but like, I'm not busy. Not really. You know what I mean? Like, I fill my time just fine. I've been having an existential crisis this year, and I have inadvertently filled my time with a lot of scrolling and snacking. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to talk about that right now. But my point is, like, in the traditional sense of busy, juggling a traditional job and kids and taking care of aging parents and being on the like, I think this still works for people who have lives like that, lives that are filled with like commitments. And I use the word commitments in a beautiful way. I mean, sometimes they're not so great, but like dinners with friends or whatever. And so interestingly enough, without any pressure, like I'm an ADHD, I wasn't getting shit done, you know? It's really sad if you think about it. And the irony is that I thought that that was what I wanted, complete flexibility. Turns out it's actually really depressing to be doubting everything you thought you ever wanted and be completely directionless, you know. But we'll talk about that some other time. Now, I am not all over this system that I created, and I'm still very proud of for gigs, okay? I'm bringing all these things out into the light because you cannot fix what you pretend doesn't exist. And so if any of my reasons resonated with you, and you also were once a proud user of the time flex tier technique but have found that you need something a little different, maybe you would like to join me for my upcoming series. I'm doing Vlogmas this year. Probably a terrible idea when I think about how like out of the loop I am with this whole YouTube thing. But what I have decided is that it's time for me to get back in touch with myself. Even the system that I'm using right now needs some refreshing. And I want to use the structure of Vlogmas and use you guys to keep me accountable to prove I can do something I say I'm going to do. Even if it sucks, I need to reevaluate everything I have written in there and make sure that what I want, it sounds like I'm getting emotional again. It's just my throat. I mean, if I really think about this, I could get emotional, but let's not do that right now. Where was I? I feel like I've been going through the motions and not living by design. And so I thought a Vlogmas series, 25 videos of pure like Notion content where I just revamp it all, could be good for me. And I don't know, maybe getting 25 videos back to back could make up for the fact that I've been gone for half the year. I don't know. You tell me. And a disclaimer, this is actually really going to be really scary for me because you're going to see all the things that I write down and think about and like things that I actually want. But like that is what I want to do with this. I want to rebuild and refresh with you guys like in real time. Do you get what I'm saying? This is not going to be a presentation like here's my perfect system, and it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a journey. Okay.